Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Mike Wise, welcome to ATV Talk. How are you, man?
Doing great. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. I know we both had a little glitches here setting this up, but we got her done. That's all that matters, right?
Right. We finally got there.
Hey, what was harder, setting this up to talk to me or racing in the Nevada 1000?
I believe they about what and what, to be honest with you.
Mike, hey, introduce yourself. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are and where you come from.
Well, I'm Mike Wise. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Actually, a little town just north of Baton Rouge. It's still considered Baton Rouge, but it's actually central is where I live at. I'm just an old tire salesman. Sell a little, mainly truck tires, big truck tires, construction tires, but we sell it all. Been riding four-wheelers, pretty much quads, three-wheelers my whole life since I was 5 years old when my dad got my first ATC-70. I mean, I still got a picture of it. My mom still has it where I'm riding it out of the living room.
You rode it out of the house.
Absolutely. I couldn't wait.
Nice.
I don't know how. That's one of the only things I remembered when I was 5 years old. I can't remember much of any of that, but I do remember riding that thing outside. Happier than anything, you know.
That is pretty awesome. You're relatively new into the three-wheeler ATV scene as far as it comes to kind of being in the public eye, racing in 1000 and all. Is racing been something that's been in your life a while?
I've been racing. So actually, when I started racing quads, which I had no idea that quad racing was a thing, I had a friend of mine that was in school with me, and I'll never, his name's Jeff Kane, and he kept telling me one day we was in welding class, and he said, they race four-wheelers on the motocross track, and I'm like, huh? No, I never, I didn't know no better. I didn't know anything. All I grew up was my dad raced, and I was too young to remember it. He did some flat track and shortcut course stuff back in the early 80s. Well, I mean, I didn't know no better. I mean, he had an 85 250R three-wheeler. I don't remember none of that. I remember going to some of them to like a regular old circle flat track that we had here. But I didn't know nothing of it. There's nobody ever said you could race four-wheelers on a motocross track. I mean, all I did was watch it on TV. It was just like, when he told me that, I was like, I'm in. This is where I need to be, because still to this day, I can't ride a dirt bike. That thing just don't, when you got to lean the opposite way of way you're turning, yeah, I'm good. I don't know nothing about all
that. What was the racing like back there? I'm assuming you're talking Louisiana, Texas,
Oh yeah, I mean, that's at first all we had a little SRMA series that started. I want to say I started in 98, 99. I'll never forget the first race I went to. The sprinkler system on that particular track, I had a 400EX, and one of the pipes had busted the night before, and certain parts of the track got flooded. Well, the only reason I didn't finish dead last in the first race was because some guy's chain broke in the second moto, and I finished next to last.
That's too.
But I remember jumping, like the first time I really come up a jump, I must have went 10 feet, and I was like, oh my God, I'm skying, I'm flying. Now I look back at it, I was just tickled to death to be on the track. I actually had to hide it for a year and a half from my dad till I turned 18. He had no idea that I even raced. He would go fishing, and me and my mom would sneak off on Sundays and go to the local track that we had, because back then dirt bikes and four-wheelers actually all raced together. So they would put us either first or last naturally. But that's how I got started in the ATV world, was a 400EX, and then realized that that thing was too slow and got on a 250R.
Three wheeler or a TRX 250R?
It was a TRX 250R. Because, like I said, I had, to be honest with you, I still had my three wheeler, my 250R three wheeler. Like I told you after the race, I used it to hunt on because I had to go down the highway, and I knew that the 250R was fast enough to go down the highway, so I wouldn't get run over.
Well, your 400X was fast enough too, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but I didn't. But my dad didn't know I had the 400EX. I actually hid it at my girlfriend's house.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. He had no idea.
What did he say when he found out?
Uh, how long you been doing it? Oh, I just started. He actually he had passed away at 45, which I'm 44. I'm fixing to be 45 next year. So I never really did got to tell him the whole story, the whole real story that I raced a year and a half without him knowing. Now my mom may have told him, but she's never told me the real story.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear about your dad.
I appreciate it.
You know, how's
But
your, how,
brother-in-law.
yeah.
So we had a scare. I'm trying to think. The third before Thursday. He had some swelling in his stomach, and they wasn't quite sure what it was. So brought him down to a CT scan. Wound up being a blood clot, and he made it through it. He had the surgery today on his blood clot. They got it fixed, got it taken care of. Mr. Leonard, hopefully we're on the right track and headed in the right direction. I mean, because it's just been, you go 2 or 3 days, think he's improvement, then you come back and it's another 2 or 3 days of no improvement. So to be
We're still
honest,
in the waiting room.
it's in the good Lord's hand at this point.
Okay. Okay. I understand. And if, you know, everybody take a moment and send prayers out to Mike's family. There is a post on our deal about what's going on with them. We won't get into it much here, but um, you can look that up and make sure you send a prayer. And I believe there is it's either a GoFund or a Give Send Go.
I think
That's
it's a GoFundMe,
yeah, for
if
the
I
family.
remember. Yeah. And look, I'm gonna tell you, like I said, those police officers is a brotherhood. We think the three wheeler world's got a brotherhood. That's about the only thing I can compare to the brotherhood of those cops. Because I mean, those police officers are absolutely phenomenal to one another. They have been there through everything. If something goes wrong, there's 20 officers in the either in the waiting room or in the lunchroom. They're there to do anything it takes to take care of of that family. I will say that it's been very impressive.
That's great for them to have the support system. I'm sure that the family portion is there as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
so it's good to hear that things are moving along. I hope that he recovers fully.
yeah.
Um,
Makes
not to put a bummer on your time here talking about your ATV career. I just didn't want to forget to talk about it and make sure that everything was moving forward. He was,
Oh no, I appreciate it.
but
It means the world.
well, I appreciate that. Uh, I appreciate his service too, because without men and women like him, where would we be, right?
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I said. Even I looked at a couple of them, and I was like, like I said, a couple of them had kind of told me what they make, and I know what I've made selling a round tire, and it's not. Those guys, they really deserve to make way more money than they make to keep us safe and doing what we're doing. I mean, look at me and you. We're sitting here on a podcast
Right,
talking about our great accomplishments or non accomplishments, talking about riding a three wheeler, riding a four wheeler. It took something like this for actually even me to see how important they really are to us.
right. I get it. I totally get it. I have a lot of friends that are either former military, or police officers themselves, and I don't know what it'd be like with life without them.
Absolutely not.
But let's talk a little bit about let's talk about some of your major races, maybe some of the wins that stand out in your mind, or just moments in racing that really stick with you.
Well, I guess the first one would be, I think it was Etchiconee, Georgia, 2002. I won my first ever national. Now it was in the C class, but that was the one of the only national victories I ever had up until last year, where we had touched on it. I actually won at Underground, the over 40 plus A class last year. So that was
Nice.
that was my second only ever national win. So you get a couple seconds. I've got a second from '06 at Glen Helen in an open A class. Oh, let's see. I mean, I did a pretty good bit of the ATV
What
nationals.
what year was it that you were out here in Glen Helen?
It was '06, 2006.
Well, I was there.
Well, I rode with the in the open A class because I was on at the time either a 310 or 330 250R.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean it's Glen Helen is kind of like what you would call our home track, even though it's still, 3 hours from us. It's this closest thing that we get to a national level track here in Southern California.
Well, at least it's better than my national track, which now just about you can't. Now Louisiana, Texas motocross is just about dwindled to nothing. I mean, we don't even have a Texas Series motocross no more. D
Not not to change the subject, why do you think that is? Is it participation or is it just the no tracks?
Well, for us, it's always been the tracks that's not allowing us to go. The dirt bike guys, oh, they sweep out the corners. They tear up our ruts and slick the track out. Well, it depends on the type. It depends on the course whether or not we give them two ruts, or if it's a hard packed. Obviously, we're going to slick it out and wipe the dirt off of it. But I mean, this is the battle I fought for the past 15 years. Like I said, when I first started, we all rode together. We all raced together. Everybody was like, all right, we're going to go watch the four-wheeler guys. And once we all got to where we were actually decent, you know, I've had more people say, man, I didn't know y'all could ride that good. And it's like, well, give us a chance before you tell us that we can't ride.
Right. I totally get that. Um, that's most motorcycle guys don't even have a clue how hard it is to ride an ATV, let alone some of the things that an ATV could do, you know?
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely. I've had some of them go out there and it's like, well, you can jump that jump. I said, yeah. He said, you sure? I said, yeah, watch. You go out there, you hit every jump on the track, and they're just like, well, I didn't realize you could do that. Well, you didn't give us a shot. You never gave us our shot to prove to y'all. That's what I told a couple of them. I was like, dude, we got $30,000 tied up in this thing. We can't just show up at the racetrack which, I mean, the Yamaha today is a little bit different than back then. I mean, you can go on a stock Yamaha and at least be pretty competitive. Obviously you won't be competitive with the full-fledged race bikes, but at
Right.
least you got it. At least you can get off the showroom floor and I can go take a stock Yamaha and pretty much, besides some crazy jump, we can go out there and jump the majority of the jumps on a stock bike.
It's a great platform for doing what we're doing. I wanted to ask you, the Nevada 1000, you got involved with the team. What did you do to prepare for that event?
Oh, so for me, I did a lot of mountain biking. I actually did some yard work in a full sweatsuit to make sure I could get used to the heat. I would sit out here and push mow. I live on 3 acres, so I'd push mow about an acre of my land, just kind of getting prepared for the heat to be able to withstand it. I know it's hotter out there, and everybody says, "Well, it's a dry heat." Yes, it is a dry heat, and it's not as stuffy as the heat that's here with 90% to 100% humidity. But also, after it rains here, we get the steam factor, which obviously in Nevada it rains never.
Right, right, exactly. That's something that I don't think that we're used to with the amount of humidity you get, and you guys aren't used to the dryness that we deal with.
Oh no, that's like walking outside and the ground under your feet's cracking. Like, the first last year when I got over there, the first time I got there, and was just like in awe because I mean it wasn't even I couldn't even compare that to Glen Helen, which Glen Helen used to be at the very beginning of the year if I remember right.
And we always, when you guys would come in February, when the Nationals would come in February, it rained almost every time.
Correct. And that was the only thing I will say that was the craziest place for me. Like Friday, the track was okay to ride on. Then Saturday comes and the wind starts blowing and it gets dried completely out. Like we rode each day a different track due to the weather. Like that just blew my mind.
You know, what's the what's the behind the scenes like for Mike when you're prepping for races or you're prepping for something like this? I mean, the home life, how does that work? How does it shake down, with work and everything?
So with work, that's what keeps it difficult. Because like I said, with me being able to out there selling tires, most of the time as a salesman, you pretty much get your time to do whatever you want. All you got to do is answer your phone. Well, no, naturally, I picked the hard sales life to where we actually pick up, deliver, and write up our own tires. So you have to manage in the process. So, like I said, most of the time I would go preparing for these desert races. I would wear either a jacket or a long sleeve shirt throughout the week to prepare for the heat. And I'd have my customers looking at me like, dude, what are you doing? It's 98 degrees out here with the humidity. I was like, well, I got a desert race in a couple months. I got to get used to the heat. That way, if I get stranded, which I never dreamed I'd ever get stranded in the desert until now, that's a whole nother story.
Right. Did when you say that again?
So like preparing for the heat, and I didn't ever expect to get stranded in the desert. I was hoping that if something went wrong, it was simple fix that we could at least get back to the pit,
Right.
which that didn't happen.
You know, did uh did Legacy prep you for what you were getting into?
They did a good job with it. They did. They showed us. They gave us our little sticker to know to use the satellite phone. Um, I want to say Legacy did everything right, to my opinion. It just the circumstances was I left my phone at the truck due to David Ham and them's team. Our little young guy Aiden passed them and got to the pit way quicker than we expected. Well, I'm still trying to grab my helmet. Well, somebody put my helmet in my gear bag. I couldn't find it. He's pulling up. I finally grabbed my helmet, throwing it on. I had to get Luke to put my chin strap on. So I looked at my water pack, my camel pack, and I was like, I don't need it. Let's go. We got to go. We got to go. And here comes David and him, the TPC team pulling up. I'm jumping on the bike, cranking it, forgets to put the kill switch in, finally get the kill switch in it, crank it, and literally we walk out of there and we're 1-2 until out of the pit zone. Naturally, the one time I needed camel pack, phone, and all that with me, I didn't have it.
Right. Um, what was the biggest takeaway that you gained from that moment?
It don't matter whether you're winning or losing, your safety's more important. So I learned real quick that I will never leave a desert race without without that camel pack full of water, because you never know. I mean, I was 20 something miles from the next pit with a bike where the gear's locked up. All my space blanket, my little first aid kit. I ended up making me I took my helmet and my chest protector, put it over the back of the bike. I had an undershirt on. I covered my head with my undershirt and literally leaned under the bike and used the swing arm as a headrest until, well, like we talked a couple weeks ago, last week, that guy Timothy stopped and picked me up. But to what David Ham was talking about yesterday with the big 1000 in y'all's live deal, yesterday morning, I was listening to it, and he was talking about the big bikes and how heavy they was. That that guy Tim actually blew out a tire and flipped the bike on top of him, and he was riding the rest of the race. I don't know if he finished. I never did get to find out, but he had a couple broken ribs in the front of his chest from the bike landing on him.
Yeah, but thank God he came along. But the bad thing is he came along in the past when we raced Best in the Desert. They specifically told us never leave your machine.
See, I never did hear that.
Yeah, that's why I was asking about. And this is no slight on Legacy. So, all the Legacy fans, please don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to slight them in any form here by what I'm saying. It's just when, and the Legacy guys come from Best in the Desert. So they
Right.
know this. And a lot of desert racers take it for granted. Okay. That you never leave your machine and you never leave your pit without all your stuff.
Right.
The 30 seconds to a minute that you gained, you lost.
Oh, yeah.
Your your safety is way more important than that bike ever will be.
Well, absolutely. So, I mean, I guess that's something that we'll have to, I guess, figure out moving
Build
forward.
on
I guess ask that
build,
question.
yeah, build on it.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
you guys are relatively some of you guys are relatively young to the desert racing.
well, I mean, this is year two for me.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, I'm listening to what David Ham has to say. I'm listening to what Rangel has to say. I'm listening to Julian. The guys that's done it, Luke, they've done these races way more than me or Donnie. Uh, so I mean, me personally, I was like, okay, this man's willing to bring me out of here. So I'm like you said earlier, I ain't worried about that bike. We'll go back and get it. It ain't moving. It's locked up. The transmission gears were locked up. So I knew what was I going to do with it? It would crank and run, but it wouldn't go nowhere.
Right. Right. It's what the reason they tell you not to leave your machine is because they have people out there looking for you.
Correct.
And when you're not there, it's a panic. It's kind of a panic for the organization because they're technically responsible for you.
Correct. And I see, and like I said, if they did say that to never leave the machine, I just missed it. I'm not taking anything away from Legacy at all. No different than you. It's a great thing. I've had great success in Best in the Desert from last year when we raced over there. I mean, I'm new to this. It's
Right.
all a learning experience. Every time you go, you do something, you learn something new. Like last year with no headlight.
You got to ride in the desert with no headlight?
Yes, that was well. I had a headlight, but it broke. So that was the best part of last year that everybody missed. I got to ride right at dark with air with no flat protection. And my goal is to obviously get it to the next pit because we were the only team last year. So I learned what silk was in the dark for the first time ever. Uh, the other thing, the best part of it was I remember saying when it got dark. So first of all, I put on my tinted goggles because of it was getting dusk, so I didn't want the beam from the sun. So I had tinted goggles on. Then it got dark, and the light was literally facing up instead of down. The only time I could see is when I was in a truck rut with the front tire down in the truck rut, and I could see in front of me. Had no idea that the front headlight bracket had broke, and it was wedged under the tracker, the GPS tracker, and that's what had it pointing up. And every time I kept trying to shove it down, it wouldn't go nowhere. So I remember saying, "This is absolutely the dumbest thing you have ever done racing up until this point."
And you came back.
Yeah, then I came right, and I came back. Yeah,
Oh God, I love that part. I totally love that part. Uh, because we've all been there.
yeah,
You know, we get home and it takes 2 weeks, and then we go, God, that was so cool. I want to go do it again.
absolutely. And that's what everybody said. Were you going to ride in the dark? And I said, no, we will have lights this time, and I will have a helmet light. I may have 3 of them, but yes, I did.
That's so funny. Um, the tough things about racing, injuries, breakdowns. What are some of the things some of the obstacles that you face?
With which one? All of the above?
All of the above.
The hardest thing for me is to stay in that full-fledged race pace. And again, I'm 44, chasing like our guy today in our woods racing over here in Louisiana. James Murray is the guy to beat. It's James and Sam, then it was me, and then they're kind of another guy that was right there getting with me, and I had to pick up the program. I was like, okay, well, my buddy Sam was starting to leave me 5 seconds a lap, 10 seconds a lap. So you had to regroup. You had to go back to training. You had to go back to having fun. And that was the thing for me. I had to learn to go have fun again. It was not, ultimately, it's not paying me any money to do this. I'm here to have fun, the camaraderie, the people. I will say the ATV, the three wheel world. The three wheel world is absolutely everybody helps one another. In the ATV world, yeah, locally, we all help one another. I got a good friend of mine, Chris Bryan. He raced with us for years. He was my nemesis. That was the one that I chased as we were coming up. But it's just the biggest thing is being able to stay in shape and keep pushing through. And the days you get home at 6, 7 o'clock from work, you got to go run like we got little trails right here to go ride the bicycle, or go run into the neighborhood and go get into somebody's neighborhood and ride the bicycle. Like Donnie rides in his neighborhood almost every day. I don't live in a neighborhood. So for me to get out there and go run on the road, I've got to go load my bike up, go to the neighborhood right down the road, then go ride through it, which, not making excuses, it's not that hard. But once you come home, it's hard to leave again to go train.
Right. So that's my next question for you is how difficult do you think it is for you at 44 years old to keep yourself in good racing shape?
It's a mindset, Leonard. It really is. You have to know every day that you've got to do something. If it's not every day, don't get me wrong. If I could ride every day, that'd be great. If I could ride 3 times a week, would be amazing. So if I make myself go 2 to 3 times a week on the bicycle for at least an hour to 2 hours a day, if I can do 4 times a week, that's when I'm in my best shape. Now it takes a few months to get to where you need to be, but you got to ride 3 or 4 times a week for at least an hour. The times that you can ride for 2, you go ride for 2. That's the only way to stay in shape that I've found for me to be able to stay in shape and keep up.
Are you talking ATVs, mountain
Oh,
bike?
mountain bike. I'm sorry, mountain bike. I have to go get on a mountain bike because there's the only track locally that I can go to is actually a friend of mine's, Justin Jefferson. He's actually trying to open it to the public. We had Kevin Kevin saw us show up at the beginning of the year. He come out and rode, and he enjoyed the track. So we've got a little bit of recognition at his place, but he's still an hour and 15 minutes from me. So if I come home, load the quad, go run over there, well, you know as well as I do, you get 30 minutes in and then it's dark and you got to come home. Well, you're getting home at 10 o'clock and then get up at 7 o'clock the next morning, go back to work.
Be great for desert racing practice to put lights on there.
Well, there's that. Absolutely.
That's more of a joke than
I know,
anything
I know,
there.
I know where you was going with that. Me and my light situation. I'm with you on that one.
I mean, hey, it's all about training and staying in shape. You know, think back. You're 44. If you go back to a different time, at 44, what were men doing? They sure as
They
hell
weren't.
weren't out racing motorcycles or ATVs.
No, they
Or
wasn't racing.
they weren't
Absolutely
doing
not.
anything. I can remember my dad he didn't do none of that. He wasn't active. He was freaking go to
No.
work home.
Well, and that's it. I mean, no different. Hell, I mean, no different than me talking about like my dad. I mean, he drove a truck for a living. I mean, he come home. He didn't ride. We would go fishing and whatnot, but we didn't go. We didn't go ride. Like I said, he would come once he found out about me racing. He come to a couple of them, but he's like, man, I really wish you'd come do some more fishing with me. And I'm like, dude, I love riding. Like I'd much rather ride.
Right. There again, it's it is what it is, you know.
Oh, 100%. Like I said, it for me, I really enjoy the process of racing and getting to that point. Because once you are in fully good shape and you go out there and you give it your all, and you gave it your all, and you know that, hey, today I got beat because I just wasn't good enough. But you did enough prep and you've put your time in. I can accept that all day long. It's when you go out there and you get beat by a guy that shouldn't beat you, but the reason he beats you is because he put in more work. And I've learned to be able to accept that.
And and
That
and
was
that's something that's an age thing, or is it just circumstance?
Sometimes it's circumstance, sometimes to ride that controlled edge at 44, to go through the woods at fifth gear on my, let's just say, we'll just use my YFZ. Let's see, 65, whatever, 68, 70 with 20s on it through a section that you're running. You got it, everything it's got wide ass open coming into a sweeping corner. And then you come to a little tight section and you downshift into third gear and the trees are whipping by you. And it's like that mindset to keep going and to push through those trees and the dust, it gets challenging the older you get.
Oh, well, yeah, because you have more responsibilities.
Correct.
You know, we didn't. I forgot to do this in the beginning of the show, but I want to do it
Okay.
now. Let's address the family. You know, kids, wife.
Oh, I have no kids of my own. I have two step kids, which Caitlin and Caden. Matter of fact, Caden's the one that come and brought me the AirPods so we can make this 30 minutes of trying to make this phone and Zoom work, because me and you are technology. How does he say that? Very tech savvy.
Right. Yes, you are.
um, and then my wife Tessie, which she's 42. She's been one hell of a trooper. She's went with me. She's traveled and come to all the races. She's seen all the ups and downs. And Lord, we can't ever have her on here because she could tell you some bad things about some of my mishaps of getting mad and finishing second and still be mad at the world.
We have to learn. I mean, I've been involved in racing a long time, been involved in sports. Nobody ever likes to lose.
No,
But if you look at life in general, we lose way more than we win.
no, yes, that's true.
Well, the only way we get better, the only way you were talking about putting in effort, you were talking about doing all these things. The reason you do all that is because of your experiences with not winning.
Correct. Oh yeah, for sure.
If you won all the time, would you work that hard?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you'd like to say yeah, but in reality, no, you're not. I mean, when you're winning, you're winning. let's just look at we can look at Jet, we can look at Joel. I mean, look at Joel, what he's doing right now is absolutely crazy.
Right.
You know, I
At
mean,
one
this
point, at one point he's going to relax. Happens
I
to
keep
everybody.
I know I keep saying that myself, and it's like, and just as soon as you think he relaxes a little bit, he finds another gear, and it's remarkable watching that guy ride. It really is.
I don't think we're going to see it anytime soon.
No.
He's too fired up. He has goals. He's looking at the end of the road. He's got a great team owner
Oh yeah.
that it is inspirational. So, that's a whole different thing. Speaking of goals and upcoming things, what do you got? What are your goals for racing? What do you got upcoming? What's the big agenda item or items that are coming up for Mike Wise?
Well, so I I'm hopefully again going to try to go to hit Ironman's GNCC in October. That's the plan to go do that again. We're doing our little local LACC. I'm going to do some more of the Texas races because they've got an hour and a half, and they actually have a pro class that pays a little bit of money if you do well. So I'll try to run the Texas series, and then Luke's conned me into going to his Arkansas cross country series. But if he says there's just a little tight, if I got to run stock with, then it ain't gonna do me no good because all my bikes are 50 inches wide. But next year we're dead set on doing a few nationals in the motocross world, and ultimately I think we're going to go back. If they do the Legacy 1000 again, I know that the team's planning on it again because we had such a great race against the TPC team. I mean, that was some of the most fun I've had racing in a long time. It was just awesome being able to swap them and get past back and forth, and that meant a lot because I'm at the end of the day I'm the weak link. We was hoping that it was going. I was hoping that Aiden was going to be the weak link, but it wasn't. I was. So I got to do some. I do some more 3-wheeler training for sure.
Are you good? You live that far away from Luke?
Yeah, he's in Arkansas.
So that's how far of a drive away from you is that?
At least 5, 6, 7 hours.
So it's far, but not that far.
No, no, no. I mean, that's not crazy. No.
It's like me having to drive to Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it ain't that big a deal. I mean, if me and Donnie and we all get together and leave on a Friday night or leave Friday, we split the driving up between the two of us, and if we get Donnie on the phone, he'll make 2 or 3 calls to a 3-wheeler guy, and we'll be on the phone for 4 hours.
They while you're driving, you're talking. I get it. I totally get it. That's
I
pretty
mean,
awesome. So we've come to the point in time of the show. I mean, I'm going to have you back on again
yes, sir.
because we're so technically savvy that we mistakes here. We're not going to tell everybody and we're not going to talk about it, but
No, of course not.
we've come to this here. So I want quick answers. I'm going to fire some questions off to you.
Okay.
And this is all about having a good time. Maybe we'll get a laugh or two out of it, or just find out really about Mike. What's your favorite track?
Etchicone.
Really? Isn't it kind of rough?
That's why I like it. That's the only thing I've been good at. The rhythm stuff, I'm out. Never been good
Okay.
at it.
All right. What's your dream event to race?
To be honest with you, last year was my dream event was to race in Vegas. That was my dream, was to be able to race in Vegas, man. That was it. That was my dream.
So you got to have another
I,
dream now.
well, it's Redbud, but they don't let us go back. Like I've always wanted to go to Redbud.
Okay.
So either Redbud or I
It's
guess
not
maybe
over. Redbud
sir.
hasn't closed yet, so there's still a chance.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, either Redbud, Unadilla, or Southwick.
Okay. Who's your favorite racer of all time?
Jeremiah Jones.
Nice. Good. That's a good dude to have. He is a smart dude, isn't he?
Dude, look, that's when I started. That's who I grew up watching, and just, I mean, even the Sports Center days of when they got to go out there and race, and just listening to what he could do. Like, and still to this day, I try to mimic some of the throttle control that he has, and knowing I'm doing it all wrong, but I sure think I'm riding like Jeremiah Jones, you know.
Well, you can ride a tenth like that guy, you're doing something right because he's a phenomenal rider in his day, and he's still very, very track savvy.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
a pre-race must-have for Mike Wise.
pre-race must have. Oh Lord. I guess it would have to be here lately. Me and my wife have our little handshake that we do, no matter whether she's with me or not. Every time before I get on the bike, whether it's practice or not, we got this little handshake we do. It's a little slap, fist bump, and then little spirit fingers, and then a little air kiss if we're not together. So that's been for the past 3 years. That's been my pre-race deal.
That's pretty good. Something with your wife there. Um, if you could sit down and talk to the youth riders of the nation, male, female, doesn't matter, ATVs, three wheelers, whatever, what's some of the advice that you would give them?
To be honest, just go out and have fun. Just enjoy it. You can only get better if you're having fun. I have learned that in the previous time. If you're treating it as a job, it can get a little irritating.
So
And that's
just
the B. Just go out there and enjoy yourself, ride with your competitors, you know, go and ride, try to be able to ride against the guys that are faster than you, watch them, listen, learn what they do, look at their body language. And that's what's, to be honest, that's what's helped me throughout it. Now, granted, I have been that guy that gets plumb upset for finishing second or third, but we had that discussion earlier.
you've grown a little since then, right?
A little. We won't say it's been completely grown, but a little. Yeah.
Well, grown-ups are no fun, so why do we want to grow up, right?
Exactly. Grown-ups are no fun. Agreed.
Okay. Favorite machine of all time.
Well, it has to be my Cali, the KFX.
We talked about that a little bit on when
Yep.
you guys came on in the Sunday morning show.
Yes, sir. I
That's
still love that thing. I mean, it's a
still
big
have
old
it?
pile of junk, sir.
You still have it?
I still have two of them.
Nice. Do they run?
One will actually crank and run. One needs a crank. The one that runs, that actually last year at Sunset Ridge, the counter shaft, the sprocket shaft, tried to pull out the side of the motor. It was great. So it does run, but it's got a big hole in it. So I don't think that counts.
No, but uh, at least you love them, and that's all that matters. They do handle really well. There was a lot of things we liked. I just wish they would have put the dirt bike
I
electronics
know.
in it, and we all would. It'd probably still be one of the machines that people would be riding today.
Now I did change, like I told you, that we put the carburetor on it, and that made the world of difference. It cranks better. It actually, to me, runs better. To be honest.
It got rid of some of the electronics that were causing a problem, I'm sure.
Well, and that's the thing. Once they start having electronic problems with the fuel injection, you just take it off and spend. You know, basically, I had to spend $1,000 for a carburetor. But hey, it is
What
what it
about
is.
just what about just putting a dirt bike motor in it?
I've thought about it. They say the Honda motor is easier to put in it than it is the KFX motor.
Well, would that betray the fact that you like the Kawasaki? If you put a
I, to be honest with you, I don't care what motor. If you put a Yamaha motor in it, I wouldn't care.
okay.
That don't mean nothing to me. I just, like I said, I love the way it handles and the way it feels. It's just, back to what we said last week. It's just the closest thing I've rode to a TRX 250R from back in the day. I had a Walsh frame. That KFX is the thing I felt the most comfortable on.
So, are you thinking about sending your KFX to TPC to have a Kawasaki three-wheeler made?
That thought has really, I thought about it last week. I did, because that way I could compete against Donnie. He could have his Yamaha and I could have my Kawasaki. And, we could have the two Louisiana boys versus each other, mano a mano. I know we was talking about the quad versus the three-wheeler. We got to figure out one of them. Whichever one is more intrigued is what we got to do. We want to do Vegas to Reno against one another. I just think that'd be pretty cool.
I do too. Problem is with Bill Casey, there's a year minimum wait.
Yeah, I seen that. I know.
Yeah,
So it might have to be a couple years from now.
there you go. There you go. How
But
can they find you on social media, Mike?
well, all I got is my Instagram. It's Mike Wise 226. Haven't actually got hacked several years ago with Facebook and Instagram, so it's kind of haven't really put a lot of effort into it lately because of that. Once it got in it, it was like everything that I'd posted with some of the sponsorships and trying to put the videos and all that up, and then you lose it all due to some random person. I just kind of got frustrated with it, but I'm now being on your show and being on this, I have a reason to build it back up.
Nice, nice. So we're going to see you at some more events on the West Coast, maybe with a three-wheeler team, maybe on a four-wheeler.
Well, I know we're looking at whichever bike I fix first. I got another Yamaha in the works that I may build to ship out to the West Coast where I can actually just fly over there.
Well, that'll work good for you. That'll work good for you.
Because I want to try some of the works races. I really those look fun.
They are. They are. There's a lot of fun. Those off-road races are a lot of fun. I
And
don't necessarily think that your Yamaha is the best desert machine, but for works, it would work perfectly fine.
well, and that's the thing. So now with the Honda is the bike for the desert, correct?
Yes. Problem being is Honda doesn't support them.
Correct.
You can't buy parts anymore. You can't do some of the things that you used to do, and that's a bummer. But what are we going to do,
Well,
right?
what's the flaw with the Yamaha? I mean,
It's a motocross bike. It's not a off-road bike. Where
okay,
Honda is a bike that's more universal. It does
okay,
everything well. It doesn't do anything amazing, other than
hmm
it is an amazing desert bike and has been for a number of years. And I've said this on multiple shows, and I'll say it again. I believe your foundation for desert racing, if you're going to race an ATV, is going to be a Raptor 700.
okay,
Motors are super durable. The chassis suspension upgrades are coming. We have to develop it. Do you think the
okay.
Honda came out of the box perfect?
No, of course not.
The technology came along faster because more people were riding it.
hmm
But if we get more people involved in desert racing, the suspension upgrades will come for the 700.
Okay.
Your best suspension desert guy, my opinion, this is just my opinion. It's how I'm going to skin my cat. You can skin yours any way you want. I'm going through Doug Roll.
Yeah.
Guy's a genius,
No.
in my opinion. So that's what I'm going to do. If I was going to go race motocross, I'd probably still talk to Doug and do some of the things Doug says. But Mike Walsh is a pretty good guy to go through as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's ultimately the A arms that I have. One of my Kawasaki's is fully washed from subframe, swing arm, A arms. Now it's got X6 shocks on it. The other one has the ARSFX and stock swing arm on the other Cali. But my Yamaha has the Walsh front end. Now I'm probably gonna go. I haven't got the full long travel suspension done for it yet, because originally my Yamaha was supposed to be my practice bike, which now it's turned into being my race bike.
Right. What year is that one?
16, I believe.
Nice. I would set it up to be your racer.
Yeah, I know. That's what I got. I know. I'm just being hard headed.
I'd probably just park those Kawasaki's if it was me.
That's probably what I should do. That's like I said, I'm gonna fix one of them, the one that has a hole in it. I'm gonna put that one back together, and then eventually, if I ever decide to retire, then I'll put the other one back together and just, hey, say, look, I got a Walsh KFX and it's pretty in green and it costs a lot of money. Let's just leave it at that.
There you go. Brother, thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate your time. Hey, and next time we're prepared, so we can zoom right through it and we won't have any delays.
Sounds good to me. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, it's absolute pleasure for me to be on something like this. 25 years of racing, and I've been on 2 in less than a week. I absolutely thank you for allowing me to be a part of this show.
Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show.